We live in a world that glorifies the extreme, the massive leap, the dramatic transformation, the overnight success. We see people sprinting, grinding, burning out just to make a splash. Because intensity looks exciting, it grabs attention, it feels powerful in the moment, but then it fades. The flame that burns the brightest often burns out the fastest. And yet, deep down, we all know the truth. Lasting change doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. Not the big moments, but the quiet ones, the small decisions, the daily actions no one claps for, the steps you take when no one's watching. Let me tell you about a man named Marcus. 5 years ago, Marcus was lost. Not in the dramatic, falling apart sense, but in that quiet, invisible way. The kind of lost you don't notice until you look back and realize how far off course you've gone. He had goals, dreams, a vision of who he wanted to be, but life had buried them, under work, under stress, under excuses. He kept telling himself, I'll start Monday. Then Monday became next month became next year, and every attempt to change came in bursts. A strict diet, a 30-day challenge, a 5 a.m. routine he hated. He'd go hard, push himself, burn out, quit. And each time he failed, he lost a little more trust in himself. Until one night, after scrolling through another video promising massive results in 7 days, he finally admitted it to himself. I don't need intensity. I need something I can keep. That one thought changed everything. He decided to try something radical, something no one on the internet was shouting about. He chose to go slow. He didn't change everything. He changed one thing. He drank a glass of water every morning. Just that, for 1 week. Then he added a 10-minute walk. Then he started journaling 1 sentence a night. Tiny things, laughably small, but he didn't stop. Not after a week, not after a month. He just kept going. And 6 months later, his life looked different. Not because he did something huge, but because he finally did something long enough. He stopped chasing transformation and became someone who simply showed up. That's what consistency is. It's not glamorous, it's not loud, but it's the strongest force in personal growth. Because here's the truth, intensity is about what you can do once. Consistency is about what you can sustain, and what you sustain becomes who you are. Let me ask you something. What matters more? 1 perfect workout or 100 average ones? 1 clean meal or 1,000 slightly better choices? 1 night of inspiration or months of steady action through boredom, fatigue, and doubt? It's not the intense moments that build you. It's the consistent ones. Because consistency is identity in motion. Every time you show up, even when it's small, even when it's messy, you're proving something to yourself. You're becoming someone who doesn't need the stars to align to move forward. You're becoming someone who takes responsibility, not for being perfect, but for being present. And that shift is everything. Now maybe you're thinking, but what if I don't feel like it? That's the point. Consistency means showing up anyway, not always at full speed, not always with enthusiasm, but showing up. Because discipline isn't about being rigid, it's about being reliable. You can adjust your pace, you can modify your plan, but the only thing that breaks momentum is stopping. It's not missing 1 day, it's letting 1 day become 5. It's not failing, it's giving up entirely. So if you fall, get up slower. If you're tired, go gentler, but don't disappear. Keep the thread alive. Because the power of consistency is cumulative. It stacks, it compounds. 1 step becomes 2, 2 becomes a rhythm, and rhythm becomes transformation. You won't always see it. At first, it'll feel like nothing's happening, but underneath the surface, something is shifting. You're building trust. You're rewriting your story. You're laying bricks for a life that won't collapse when things get hard. That's the real win, not just achieving your goal, but becoming the kind of person who doesn't need external pressure to stay in motion. Because consistency builds character. It teaches you patience. It teaches you humility. It teaches you to honor your word, even when no one else knows you broke it. That's the quiet strength you carry into everything. Your work, your relationships, your health, your dreams, all of it fueled not by bursts of passion, but by the slow burn of showing up. Let me tell you something else. Something no one likes to admit. Most people don't fail because they aim too low. They fail because they aim too high, too fast, and then give up when they can't sustain it. They think they need the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect version of themselves to begin. But what they really need is the courage to start small, to do what they can, today. Even if it's just a walk, a page, a decision to not quit. Because every consistent act, no matter how small, plants a seed. And when you trust the process, when you water that seed with time and effort, it grows. Not overnight, but always. There's a reason the most successful people in the world talk about routines. It's not because they're boring, it's because they've discovered the real secret. It's not about intensity, it's about repetition. And the longer you stay in the game, the better you get. You don't need to sprint, you just need to stay on the path. Even if you crawl, even if you stumble, even if today looks nothing like yesterday, the path is still there. You're still becoming. And every quiet act of consistency is casting a vote for the person you're becoming. So let me ask you again, who do you want to become? Because that person isn't created in one big moment. They're created in thousands of small ones. In early mornings, in late nights, in the choice to keep going when the excitement wears off, in the way you treat yourself when no one's around to clap. That's where greatness is born. Not in intensity, in integrity. So today, don't try to do it all. Just do something. Something you can repeat tomorrow. Something your future self will thank you for. It won't always feel like progress. It won't always be impressive, but it will always be worth it. Because consistency is how mountains are moved. And you are already moving. If this message resonated with you, do me a favor, tap that like button, share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more messages that help you stay on the path. Because you don't have to go fast, you just have to go forward.